We're here to inform and enlighten, and the Republican Club does its best to do that for their side of the aisle. And we want to welcome Ro Kendall and Pat McCone to the program. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you, Michael.
So you guys had a great speaker. Just real quick, you had a great speaker who I know, and I think I mentioned on the last show, Will Swain coming in and speak. It sounds like it was a great event.
It was great success. He was just so on point and entertaining. I mean, he's brilliant, so we enjoyed it.
He's a brilliant guy. I know him well, and I knew he'd be great for you guys, so I'm glad you enjoyed that. But you got a new speaker coming up, Bill Sinclair, your next meeting.
Yes,
Tell us about
Bill Sinclair. Well, he's well known in the village, Michael. Bill's been around a while. He spent 18 years with the Americas Institute with current events and finance. He comes from a banking background, actually. He was CEO of the first Washington Bank Corps and an $8 billion holding company. Then he went on to another bank, couple banks, the American Federal Bank and Perpetual Bank. So he comes from that background, but he has a passion for, following current events. And one of the things he's going to be talking about is going to help us be aware of the current events happening and how he can bring some eye-openers and some solutions, hopefully, to saving our country. That's his passion.
How about the policies and finances and all those kind of things?
I think he was in Washington, D.C. for a time, too, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah. He was a naval officer during the Vietnam War.
Yeah, that goes way back, but yeah.
Yeah, it was. It was quite impressive. He's really quite a gallant man.
Yes.
Yeah, it's always amazing. You see the folks who you guys get and their long history of youth service or multiple kind of in the military and finance and that kind of thing, and then they bring all of that knowledge to the table, which I'm sure is why you guys decided to have him in.
Yes, we do. We like to bring local people when we can to promote them. Yes.
So how have you had Bill speak before? He can be brand new to the group, or is he?
He has spoken in years ago. Shirley Morgan, previous president, had him speak many times years ago. So, and probably in the last 15 years. But Tea Party just had him recently too.
Okay. And so he's going to be speaking mostly about economics, policies, and how they affect our bottom line, really, right?
Current events.
In the countries.
Apparently, our $35 trillion debt and the impact of that.
Yeah. Okay. The clock is ticking on that debt.
It is. I know. Every 6 months, right? $1 trillion every 6 months. I've heard.
Somebody's going to have to figure out how to pay for that.
Yeah.
Our great grandchildren will work it out. Don't worry.
You also have the second speaker, Aaron Kennedy.
Yes.
And so tell us about Aaron and why you guys brought him on.
Well, Aaron is one of our own here in the village. He is watch commander, and he is just such an enthusiastic ambassador for our security department. He started out as law enforcement. He started in the city of Placentia, and he was there for 11 years. And he started out as a patrolman and ended up in the special enforcement detail, and he was dealing with gangs and narcotics and problem-oriented policing. So I don't know exactly what that is, but that's what it said. Anyway, and he was Officer of the Year. I mean, he's got a lot going for him, and he loves being in Laguna Woods. He just loves being the opportunity to serve. So
It'll be nice for our people to get to meet him personally.
Yes, and he'll have a lot of tips about safety and what's going on in terms of resources with how many times the fire department has to come and all that. He's got all those numbers, and it's very interesting. I've heard him speak.
Yeah, it is very interesting, right? In the sense of if there's an emergency in your home and you call 911, the fire rescue, they send a truck, and the resources involved in sometimes just a fall. And I don't want to diminish the idea of it's just a fall, but I just last night I was driving through Laguna, coming back from a walk over in Crystal Cove, and fire truck goes by, and then the paramedic truck goes by, and then another car goes by. It's like, that's one call. I was like, wow, it always seems like such a big deal. A lot of resources going on.
I think about that too.
Yeah. And I understand the fact that, okay, well, the firefighters, sometimes they'll say, well, it takes us, if we have to lift somebody, you can't have one guy or two guys. So, but isn't there, how can we have a better way of doing that so with so many resources don't have to be invested in so many?
It seemed like years ago, only the EMTs would be, an ambulance would come and they would do that. So, it is.
So it's amazing. So just kind of like cost efficiencies and also safety, right? And so
Safety.
Yeah.
there's many things that people
Very
can
much
do
so.
in terms of safety that they just maybe aren't doing or aren't aware of, and probably on the cyber side too, and what you do around your
Yeah.
house and those kinds of things.
He also has, he came to Laguna Woods in 2021, and he has been involved in cases that resulted in stopping criminal activity in our community.
Yeah.
So
wow.
he's on it, yeah.
He's our own watchdog around
He
here.
is.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
excited.
Watchdog Commander. Yeah.
No, he's got a lot of accolades, and I'll let him talk about that. You'll have to come and see him.
Yes, absolutely. And then you have one other thing, I guess, that you guys are kind of getting behind and going out. You're going to do a gun safety thing over at On Target Shooting Range.
Yes. Yes.
That's correct.
You know, we had Greg Booslag. He's the owner of On Target Range down in Laguna Niguel.
Sure, I live pretty close to there.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Have you frequented?
No, I've never been to that one. I've only been to a shooting range one time. It was one in Anaheim. And I've only shot guns a handful of times.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. That's
Right,
great. You do.
right.
At least you know how, and
Yes.
that's why we're having this, right? So we can have people maybe
Gun
have a chance.
safety. You know, people are afraid of guns, and he tells stories about women, single women in their 80s and 90s, and they've never had a gun, but they want to learn. And he shows them how not to be afraid of having a gun, handling a gun, and using a gun if you have to.
Right, because there are responsible ways to have
Absolutely,
gun ownership.
yes.
You know how to use it, you know how to store it
Yeah, right.
safely, and all of those things that you want to do. So there's a responsibility that should be on the onus of the owner to make sure they know what you're doing, right?
Yes, yes,
Right.
yes.
So we're doing this, it's a one-day course, and it's classroom time in terms of learning all the safety rules. And then we actually go into the range and we get to shoot. And we don't have to bring anything.
Please
He
send me
supplies
pictures.
everything.
Please send me pictures of you two
We will. We're going to have them for the globe.
firing away.
I happen to be a very good shot.
Are you? Okay,
Yes,
I want to
I
know,
am.
I want to see you hold up the target. I want to know how many feet away you were.
That's a good
It'll
idea.
be back there somewhere, but I'll see if we can do that. Yeah, we'll put it in the globe.
Yes.
Be more mindful of the kind of questions
Great
I ask you.
idea, Michael.
So we hope so many will come. We only have about 20 spots, so.
Yeah,
Okay, so
but
sign
we
up.
can do it again.
And folks can do it through the website. How can they RSVP?
They should contact me directly.
Okay, so
And
contact Ro.
it's rokendall@gmail.com, or there'll also be an article about it in the Globe tomorrow.
It's been in the Globe
Oh, okay.
this week, and it's going
Well,
to be
there you
next
go.
week, too.
Okay.
So they
So
can
if you want,
contact
and
you.
it's only $20. I mean, what a
Yeah.
deal! He's trying to help us.
He's a great guy.
He
Sounds like
is.
a
We
great
love him.
deal. Sounds like a great fun. Good safety, good ideas. What are you guys doing in terms, real quick before we wrap up, what are you guys doing in terms of getting out the vote, registration, telling people about early voting, or getting, how you guys organizing?
We're
the
working on that.
community?
We have a team, our precinct captain team, and we're going to be rolling that out. We're working on it now, the plans. You know, you can't, you can, we're always doing it.
Right.
We're always doing voter registration. But there is a certain fatigue that goes on in the
Right.
process, so we're working to be strategic about it.
So you don't want to start pushing in April and for something that's happening in November, right? So people
Right,
know.
right.
And
We only
for
have
us,
so
too,
many
for-
volunteers.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, and then the volunteer corps.
Yeah.
It's during the October, November is the time where the big push goes on.
Yes.
That's when you want to make the big ask.
In
of people to
September, kind of in
participate.
September, so we're building our strategy.
Okay.
It's going to be a big election. This is the most important in our lifetime.
It's going to be a huge one. Yeah, and people are definitely divided and all that crazy stuff. So it's going to be exciting. We'll see how
Yes.
everything turns out. Ro, Kendall, and Pat Micone from the Republican Club. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
joining us.
You're welcome.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Michael.
Michael.
You're watching This Day. We'll be right back.